English Vibes Podcast. Welcome to 8-Minute English on English Vibes Podcast channel. It's great to meet you. What's your origin story for your business idea?
Well, it all started with a simple problem I saw in my daily life. I just knew there had to be a better way to solve it. I was really unclear on where to begin with.
How'd you know it was a problem?
It was the inefficiency in managing personal finances. There were so many apps, but none of them seemed to provide a simple solution for people like me.
So you thought about creating something. You know what? I could totally help you with that.
Exactly. But it wasn't as easy as I thought. I had no technical background, and I was worried if anyone would be interested.
How did you take the first step? Starting something new can be pretty tough.
I started by researching. I learned everything I could about the finance industry and the tech side of things. Even if I didn't understand it all, I knew I had to dive in.
Are you okay? Did someone give you a hand?
Yes. I reached out to a few friends who had experience in software development. They were enthusiastic about the idea and offered assistance in starting it.
Building your first version.
So, once you had the team, how did the first version form?
It was tough. The first prototype was basic, barely functional. But it was something tangible that I could show to others. The moment felt incredibly significant, like a big win.
User feedback. What did others think of your prototype?
The feedback was mixed. Some people loved it, but others found it too complex. I realized that user experience was more important than I had thought.
Facing challenges. It sounds like you had some bumps along the way. Had you ever faced a moment that was really tough?
After the first launch, we had a lot of bugs. The app crashed for many users, and it was really discouraging. I thought about giving up.
The moment of change. So, what kept you going when you thought you should have quit?
I remembered why I started, to solve a real problem. I talked to my team, and we decided to push through and fix the issues. So, it was a big change for everyone, right?
Dating seriously. So, when did you decide you needed more stuff to get bigger?
When we realized that the app had potential, but we needed funding to make it scale. We went to investors, and it was a nerve-wracking process.
Chatting with investors. So, how was the pitching part?
I was nervous. The first few investors rejected us, but we kept refining our pitch. Finally, one investor believed in us and decided to fund the project.
Crafting the ideal team. So, how's business been treating your team these days?
Absolutely. We started with a small group, but as we got more funding, we brought in people with the expertise we needed. Like marketing and product design.
Taking the lead. What's your tip on managing a growing team?
It wasn't easy. I had to learn how to delegate and trust my team. I made mistakes along the way. But I realized that leadership is about supporting your team, not doing everything yourself.
Capturing users. So, Have you noticed any real progress in your user base lately?
It was when we invested in marketing. We tried a mix of digital ads, influencer partnerships, and content marketing. Slowly, the word started to spread.
Keeping expectations in mind. What's up with your expectations during this time?
I had to stay realistic. We didn't go viral overnight, and I had to remind myself that success takes time. Each new user had the feeling of achieving something huge.
The competitive market. When your app started to gain traction, are you stressed about competitors?
Definitely. There were many similar apps out there. But I realized that competition isn't a bad thing. It means there's a demand for the product.
Being noticed. How did you create a unique selling proposition for your product?
We focused on simplicity. A lot of apps were too complex for the average user. So we made ours as intuitive and user-friendly as possible.
Expanding the business. How did you manage app scaling?
We had to be careful. Scaling too quickly can lead to problems with infrastructure. We took our time, invested in reliable servers. Our customer support squad grew even bigger.
Trying to be strong. So, what were the hardest struggles you faced during that time?
One of the hardest parts was maintaining quality while growing. We needed to ensure that new users had a smooth experience, even as the app grew more complex.
Listening to users. How did you ensure that your app continued to meet users' needs?
We made sure to listen carefully to feedback. We used surveys, read reviews, and even held focus groups. It helped us fine-tune the app and add features that people actually wanted.
Adaptive to criticism. I've ever had a criticism that was tough to take in.
Yes, some users complained about performance issues. It stung because we had worked so hard. But it was important to address those concerns quickly to keep users happy.
Managing cash flow. How did you manage cash? How's the business flow during those early stages?
We had to be extremely careful. We lived on tight budgets, prioritizing essential spending. I learned quickly that cash flow management is the lifeblood of any startup.
Reaching more money. Did you ever feel pressured to raise more funds?
Yes, but I was cautious. We didn't want to take on too much outside funding too early. We wanted to make sure we were ready before giving away equity.
Crafting a brand. When did you discover you needed a solid brand identity?
Once we had a user base, I understood that a strong brand would help differentiate us from the competition. We worked with designers to create a logo and a message that resonated with our target audience.
The magic of telling stories. What's the plan with storytelling in your marketing?
Storytelling was key. We shared real customer stories about how our app helped them manage their finances. It made the app feel more personal and relatable.
Managing work and life balance. What's your experience with managing a business while juggling personal time?
It was tough, especially in the early days. I worked long hours, but I learned the importance of taking breaks and spending time with family and friends to avoid burnout.
Creating boundaries. What's your advice on setting boundaries between work and home life?
It wasn't easy, but I made sure to turn off my phone and laptop in the evenings. I set a rule for myself: no work after 8 p.m. It helped me recharge.
Earning customer trust. How did you gain trust from your users? You mean like confidential info about finance?
Security was our top priority. We implemented strong encryption and transparent policies. We also made sure to communicate openly. The topic of data protection concerns user feedback.
Teamwork and loyalty. So, have you got any alliance ideas to boost your reputation?
Yes. We partnered with financial influencers and other fintech companies. Building these relationships helped us establish credibility and reach a wider audience.
Recognizing burnout. They say that people often experience burnout during their adventures, right?
Absolutely. There were times when I felt completely exhausted. I pushed myself too hard and neglected self-care. It took a toll on both my mental and physical health.
Preventing burnout. What's your advice for avoiding burnout in the long run?
I started delegating more and setting clearer boundaries. I also began scheduling regular breaks and taking time off when I needed it.
Diving into fresh territories. So, you think about going outside your comfort zone, right?
Yes, we knew that expansion was necessary for growth. We began looking at international markets and saw a huge demand for financial tools in emerging economies.
Sudden crisis. So, have you ever been in a situation where something unexpected happened during your adventure?
Yes, we were hit by a cyber attack. It compromised user data and we lost some customers' trust. It was a nightmare, but we had to act fast to secure everything.
Transparency and recovery. What's up with that disappointment you faced?
We were transparent with our users. We sent out emails explaining what happened, what we were doing to fix it, and how we were enhancing our security.
Rebuilding trust took time, but it was crucial. Staying fresh and exciting. What's your experience with expanding your business and staying creative?
We made sure to stay close to our users. We continuously updated our app based on feedback. And we kept an eye on industry trends to ensure we didn't fall behind.
Experimenting with new features. So, you tried out those cool new additions to stay on top?
Absolutely. We launched a feature that allowed users to automate their savings. And it was a game changer. It's all about adding value, not just for the sake of adding features.
Creating a vibrant team spirit. As your company expanded. So, how did you cultivate that strong team vibe?
We focused on open communication and creating a collaborative environment. We made sure everyone felt heard and valued. And we celebrated both big and small wins together.
Facing change with confidence. How did you manage leadership challenges with such growth?
I had to learn to delegate more and trust my team. As a leader, it's important to empower your team to make decisions. I also focused on maintaining our core values, even as we expanded.
Staying with the customers. At what point did you realize customer retention was as important as gaining new users?
Early on, we focused so much on growth that we forgot about retention. But we quickly realized that retaining loyal customers is just as crucial. So we started improving customer support and offering rewards.
Introducing loyalty programs. Are you making any cool programs that keep people coming back?
Yes. We launched a loyalty program where users could earn points for using our app regularly. The more engaged they were, the more rewards they received. It worked really well.
Maintaining motivation after success. After reaching some of your goals. So, how did you stay inspired to keep on growing?
I reminded myself that success is never a destination, but a journey. I set new challenges for myself and my team, and we kept pushing forward.
Overcoming doubt. Ever feel like you doubted yourself along the way?
There were definitely moments of doubt, especially when things weren't going as planned. But I learned to embrace uncertainty and keep moving forward. Even when I didn't have all the answers.
Looking for a mentor. Did you ever find a mentor to guide you in your entrepreneurship adventure?
Yes. I was lucky to find a mentor who had already been through the startup process. So he got me looking at the overall picture and offered me some important clues when I needed it the most.
Get insights from mentorship. What's the best thing your mentor ever showed you?
He taught me the importance of resilience.
He said the hardest times often lead to the most growth.
That advice really stuck with me.
Staying simple. What's your secret to staying humble even when you're successful?
I remind myself that success isn't permanent. We're only as good as our last project. I also stay connected with the team and always listen to their ideas and concerns.
Helping others. What do you do when you've done so much?
We've donated to causes that align with our values. And we've started mentoring other young entrepreneurs. I think success revolves around giving others a chance to shine.
Breaking through boundaries. So, your business expanded, right? What about any trouble with growing?
Yes, definitely. One of the hardest things was maintaining the same level of quality and service as we expanded. We had to streamline processes and hire the right people to ensure we didn't lose touch with our core values.
Expanding team and department scales. So, how did you decide to need to add more employees?
It was a balance. We had to ensure that we were growing at a sustainable rate. I'd assess where we needed more support, whether it was in customer service, tech, or marketing, and hire accordingly. Keeping things in the long-term mindset.
How did you ensure the company stayed focused on long-term success?
We set long-term goals and broke them down into manageable steps. We also made sure that every decision aligned with our mission and vision. Staying true to our goal was super important.
Looking ahead to the future. What's next for your business? In the future, where do you want to go?
We're focused on expanding globally and enhancing our platform with even more tools for personal finance management. But the goal remains the same: helping people take control of their financial lives.
Facing the future. Strategies for success. What's in store for the future?
As we grow, we'll face more competition and new technological challenges. But we've learned that innovation and staying connected with our users are our best strategies for overcoming obstacles.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the English Vibes podcast for more awesome advice.